Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's 9 o'clock or a few minutes after, so we're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming again on yet another anomaly of a beautiful day in February. If you were here last year, you remember that it was exactly this weather last year. And the first year that we had a blizzard. So we run the gamut here. I first of all would like to thank Flo Cunningham, who is not here right now. She is ill, so she will be here around 11. But she has been phenomenal in helping get everything set up, and there's no possible way that we would have been able to do it without her. I would also like to thank UX Akron. If you're here from UX Akron, can you please stand up? These lovely folks saved me a lot of time yesterday by coming in and folding programs and stuffing name badges and name tags and stuffing your goodie bags and all those types of things. So I greatly appreciate it, and you should really check them out. Their website is on a sticker in your bag, and you should really check it out. They have some great programming, and they're a great user community to go to. I would also like to thank Kent State, of course, and Westfield Insurance for sponsoring today's event. Thank you to both of our sponsors greatly. We would not be able again to have this event without sponsorship. Speaking on the sponsorship, we did hear some feedback last year that we were kind of outgrowing our space here. So we did look at the Kent Hotel and Conference Room, but we did not have enough sponsorship to do that. So you have in your bags a sheet which is a sample of the sponsor levels. Please, for next year, if you know of anybody who might be interested in sponsoring this event so that we can continue to grow, you have all the information on a sheet in your bag. Please let us know. Think about who might be interested in sponsoring. Even a small level of sponsorship will help us tremendously. It was not a huge leap to go to that bigger space, but we just weren't able to do that. So please give that some consideration. At this point, we have a World IA Day global video, but we're going to watch it at lunchtime because there were some issues with the site because so many people were trying to watch it at the same time right now. So we are going to do that when we get our lunches. Just some housekeeping things before I introduce Kendra Albright. This is room 334. This will be track A on your program. So anything that's in track A will be here. Anything that's in track B will be in room 332, which is the other room that's open down at the other end. The workshop, for those of you who are taking the workshop, who let me know that you were taking the workshop, you should have an orange sticker on your name badge, and the workshop will be in here from 10 to 12. And the last small piece of housekeeping is that last year we had some issues because when we put up the food preferences, when you register, we ask you if you have any dietary preferences. And we got a few more than we needed of vegetarian and gluten-free meals. But some people who had not registered grabbed the vegetarian and gluten-free meals, so we had some people who were not able to have those dietary restrictions because we didn't have enough. So if you have a green sticker on your name badge, that means that you told me that you had a dietary, a need for a special dietary restriction. If you don't see that and you need one, please let me know. We did order a little bit more this year, so we should be in good shape. But please let myself or the ladies at the table know, and we'll make sure that you're taken care of. And Dr. Albright, I have to look at my notes because she has some places that she has worked that I cannot pronounce without looking at my notes, which are, of course, not going to come up now because that's how, you know. Now I've got it. I apologize. All right, so sorry about that. At this time, I'm pleased to announce Kendra Albright, Dr. Kendra Albright. She is the Director of Library and Information Science, the School of Library and Information Science here at Kent, and she's going to give us some opening remarks and introduce our keynote speaker. Dr. Albright came to Kent by way of the University of South Carolina, where she was a professor in the School of Library and Information Science and the director of the African Studies program. And here's where I need my notes. Previously, she spent 2 semesters as a visiting professor at the Georgian Institute of Public Affairs in Tbilisi, Georgia, and she taught at the University of Sheffield, the top-ranked library and information science research program in the UK. She also served as deputy director of the Center for Health and Information Management and Research at Sheffield. Dr. Albright has a PhD in communications, a master's in library science, and a bachelor in human development. She's taught courses on healthcare information, research methods, information science theory, information economics and policy, and strategic intelligence. Her primary research is focused on the use of information and communication to solve human problems, particularly in the areas of HIV, AIDS, and domestic violence. She's the co-editor of the 2014 graphic novel, AIDS in the End Zone, which was written by teens incarcerated at the University of at the South Carolina Department of Juvenile Justice. I'll get this, I'm sorry. The book has been featured in the New York Times, Publishers Weekly, and USA Today. Outside of academia, Dr. Albright has served as a consultant for both the government and for private industry. Please help me in welcoming Dr. Albright.
Thank you, Carrie Ann. Good morning to all of you. Very good. It was fun standing out in the front there, seeing you guys, as many of you guys came in. I also wanted to thank Carrie Ann, who's an alumna of our UX program, for her efforts in bringing this conference and all of you to Kent State today. So I'd like to offer a warm round of applause for Carrie Ann. Now, some of you are Kent graduates and some alumni of our UX program. How many UX alums do we have here? Can you raise your hand? Wow, that's wonderful. Well, I have good news for you guys. You are automatically members of the Alumni Society that is starting to form, and you will be having some board elections coming up in late summer to have a new board that will start in the fall. We're also trying to update our alumni information, and so I have alumni cards for you. We also have it up on our website so that you can fill it out. So we can just find out where you guys are. We hope to be engaging more with our alumni in the future, months and years to come. So I really hope that you'll take these cards. They're on the back, down on the side there in front of the room on the end. So there's lots of these available. I'll have some with me if you guys want to stop me and ask for one. I really hope that you guys will fill those out. So thank you for coming. This is the 3rd year we have hosted a World IA Day event, and we are honored to be in league with cities such as Barcelona, Hong Kong, Beirut, and Johannesburg, among many others. And Kent State's UX program has been around for about 16 years, and we are proud of the extensive network of graduates now working in the profession and around the nation. You probably know that in 2013, we moved the program to a completely online master's degree, and since that time, our enrollment has grown by more than 200%. So it's doing very well. And while the majority of our students still come from around Ohio, we have strong numbers in Texas, California, Pennsylvania, and 25 other states. So this clearly speaks to the quality and reputation of our program, our faculty, our students and alumni. and to the increased demand for UX professionals in nearly every industry. As I talked with many of you as you came in, I heard about some of the different industries you're working in. So you can expect the impact of our alumni network to continue growing for years to come. I'd also like to take a moment to introduce our full-time UX faculty members who are here today, so please stand as I call your name. I don't believe Dr. Dave Robbins is with us this morning. I haven't seen him. But Dr. Paul Sherman, who's the coordinator of the UX program, and Ben Woods, our newest full-time faculty member in UX. So thank you all. And do we have any part-time UX faculty members here today? So please stand there too. Thank you for coming and for supporting our program and our students. And Ian John, I'm sorry, Ian. Stand up too. Yes, she's one of our full-time faculty as well. Thank you. So briefly now, I'd like to share some exciting news about the school. Last year, we were named to the prestigious iSchools Alliance, which includes 77 information schools around the world. And with that, we are in the process of changing the name of the school from the School of Library and Information Science to the School of Information. It's a name that better reflects the breadth and depth of the programs that we offer, the research that our faculty are doing, and our role in preparing professionals to tackle the challenges of an information-based society. You'll be hearing more about this in the weeks to come. It's not official yet. It has to have the Board of Trustees stamp of approval, which happens in March. But I wanted to give you the scoop before you hear it from somebody else. One more news item. We recently announced the winners of our annual alumni awards, and one of them is in our midst today, Tasha Markovich. Are you here? There she is. Let's give Tasha a round of applause. Tasha is receiving this year's Thomas J. Froelich Award, named in honor of the founder of the IACM program. So Tasha and other honorees will be recognized at our annual awards program on April 20th in Columbus and April 25th here in Kent. And if you're an alum, you'll be getting an invitation in your email soon, and I hope you can join us. At this time, I am delighted to introduce this year's keynote speaker, Dr. Marcia Zeng, if I pronounced that correct. Dr. Zeng is a rock star in the world of metadata and linked data, if ever there was one. In 2014, she was elected inaugural chair of the International Dublin Core Metadata Initiative Advisory Board. And also in 2014, she was recognized by Kent State University for outstanding research and scholarship. And in 2016, she received the President's Faculty Excellence Award from University President Beverly Warren. She has authored more than 80 papers and 5 books, including the widely acclaimed textbook on metadata. She also has delivered some 200 national and international conference presentations, invited lectures, and keynote speeches. She was the PI and co-PI of 2 National Science Foundation, National Science Digital Library projects, and she is currently the PI of an IMLS-funded linked data project. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Zeng.
Thank you so much for the introduction, and I'm so glad to see many of you that I just met virtually online. Okay, it's coming up. As you can see that I will take the chance today to share what I have been putting together to our UXD and the KM program, the IACM program, in relation to the knowledge organization systems. As you are all in the World IA Day today, I'm sure that you are already experts in the visual representation. So I only will just share something that I feel very interesting, that's how we can put knowledge and everything together. But my focus will be on the knowledge structures, especially the hierarchical structure. That's why you saw that I said part 1, hierarchies, because there are so many things you can see later. And also, this was one of the things we have been sharing in the class, in the 602 KOS class. Some of you have seen that. There are many ways to categorize the types of visual representation. So what I have been putting together is based on a framework of a so-called universal ontology knowledge systems. You can see the two basic categories. One, we will see on the quality-based, and this including, first of all, the sensible things that people sense, felt, or perceived. So we see this things like shape, figure, color, texture, and all of this that have been pictured, they have been used for presenting what we know, what I understood in the history for many, many years. And this is still going on. And we trace back to 1,000 years, but we also use new technology to repair the original, for example, original ancient Egypt, the wall using the light to recover how they were looking today. So it's not just they were found several thousand years ago, but we still can using new technology to visually represent the knowledge people are knowing. And another category is intelligible, which has the things like what we can say to be understandable and comprehensible. So this including the knowledge, attitude, intelligence, all of the things that you need some way to understand and comprehend. So this will be the quality side. Then the quantity side mainly we deal with the things how we can measure the quantity, and using the mostly related to the important scientific issues. We look at the magnitudes, we look at the multitude, dimensions, numbering systems, and all of this. And some are related to geographically, related to how you measure the altitude, and some physically, and also the multitude that our number system. Either the rule is that the quantities is the part of the whole of all the parts, but whether the parts has or the quantity has relationship or not relationship, those are not certain. So we have aggregates, or we based on the numbers to visualize what we can measure, what we understand, what we can use. So these examples I'm putting here, each of them will have a lot of things to talk about, but I won't go on. Something interesting is how the ancient way and the modern way can be combined. This is also the earliest the map, one of the map of the London outbreak by Mr. Snow. And this is the modern way to represent. The visual can be beyond graphics. Visual can be a lot. But I want to just focus on the central part related to the knowledge structure. Of course, this is also across the way of we're seeing things in other ways. So that's the basic framework that I'm going to see. Now, focusing on the knowledge structure, there are different ways to present. And what I'm trying to look today is the hierarchical structures. I'm sure that you feel very familiar with the next few slides. What are the hierarchical relationships? In general, we have three types the generic relationships is it's a way we categorize anything in the world. And you categorize that everything that your life and the science categorize everything in this way. But there are also other relationships, hierarchical and the instance relationship. They're polyhierarchical, which means you belong to two families. Right? So those are the hierarchical relationships. For example, everyone knows the genus-species relationships according to the philosophical way we look at that, the intention and the extension to decide what's the difference of a human versus a normal animal, right? So everyone knows that. That's the genus-species relationships. And the whole part relationships are also very important. Many of you are dealing with visual designs, and you deal with a lot of them. It's not really the belonging kind of relationship, but it's a part of relationship. First is the systems, a human body, for example. Your arm or your nerve is not a kind of your person, it's a part, right? Then another one is the geographical relationship. It's Toronto is a part of Canada. It's not a kind of. So that's another way we can look at this. And this was one of the examples. And this also the whole part relationship can be the organizations. This probably touches everyone. Everyone has that organizational relationships at the work that you are dealing with, and you don't want to put yourself above your boss, right? That's the hierarchies. It's there. The third kind of hierarchical relationship is the instance, which mostly the things are you can see in the pronoun. They usually have a proper names. For example, different mountains. It's a instance or example of the mountain. But no matter what, we could represent these knowledges in hierarchies, no matter what the three things I mentioned before. So the first one, the two previous part was to say what I was going to focus on. Next will be, let's trace the root of how we have seen the people represent the knowledge structure in hierarchies. Yeah. I don't know whether you can see it in the older way. All right. If we go back to the early time, this one was about the third century, and then Porphyry was referring to Aristotle's original idea, and he categorized or sorted in these 5 classes. And these 5 classes, you feel very familiar: genus, species, difference, property, and the extent or instance. And exactly today in the ontology, we still use this one. But the more important thing is that he also introduced a hierarchical structure to show the relationship, to show the hierarchy. This picture was 1,000 years later that people interpreted. But that is the idea that he's established in the early time. It's called the scale of being, or he had the tree structure to show this relationship from our everything, from how the ancient time that before we have biology that people doing with this hierarchy of the life. of the whole things. Another important thing is Lulith's tree of science, and he has showed, as you can see very vividly, the tree structure. And this tree, there are two major trees. There's 18 roots, and this one I'm showing is the 9 arc principles, showing here. Then he used many way to show different branches. You can see that 16 pictures depicting the different branches as people understand in this science. So this is a tree of science. And I was trying to find out whether we have anything Asian. See, all of those are the Western culture. Because Asian has such huge history, why we don't have that structure. So finally I found one on the book. However, this was not originally a Chinese person. Can you see that? So the tree structure was introduced by one of the earliest priests. Yeah, the Chinese or Asian is more on the circle or systematic way. Everything have to be opposite to each other, help each other, or against each other. So he was the one that brought to the palace, to the kings, the emperors, and taught a lot of the new, at that time, the new science theories and structures to the Chinese people. So that's very interesting. I couldn't even find on the web, so this is on the book, if you are interested to see. And this is exactly also the way that the Westerners look. First, how you divide the thing with shape or no shape, with mind or no mind, with sense or no sense, and all the way down. Very interesting taxonomy. And to the modern time, we have the tree of life that's starting from the millennium that has the taxonomy that has been used today. Even the nomenclature is still used today, how we find the new species, how we name them, how we categorize them. And he was also the big influencer of Darwin and Darwin's grandfather. So we can see that from Darwin, the only illustration in his book on the origin of species. This is the only illustration, and it's the tree structure. And Darwin's idea was further introduced by Haeckel, the German scientist who depicted exactly all kind of things that people may understand. So this particular one, there's a book has a lot of the pictures. This is the one that shows the 3 branches. That you can see how the tree now is further structured, not just the regular, further structured by 3 disciplines. And today, we still use this tree as a structure to teach children, to teach in the middle school, high school, and also normal people. So now, can we go beyond the tree, the figure trees? That will be the major part that I'm going to talk about. So from graphical representation to computerized visualization. There are many ways that we can do this, and I use the very nice summary by Munzner for the visualization that I'm going to talk about. But I also have a question to bring in, say, are there any traceable roots of this modern computerized visualization. So let's see. First, we looked at the tree structure that I mentioned. So many of them, they have been widely used. Probably people very easily connect to that. And the two major domains I use is one is genealogy, not just the human, but also using the genealogy way to trace to history for any subject domain, anything. And another one is classification, because we deal with so many things. We have to classify them first in order to understand the use and manage them. So the classification is the second major domain they use this kind of tree structure. But the combination of both. And today, the oncologists are occupying everywhere, and oncologists are still based on this structure. But my question is the tree structure only based on the logic and the sense felt and the received? And could the order, structure, and size be both quality and quantity based? Yeah. So then we can see that whether the modern visualization, computerized visualization that all use the quantities, are they have any roots from ancient? So I want just to have some fun to bring something that I found. Who was the first one to measure tree should be drawn in structure in particular proportion? Da Vinci. Can you believe that? He was the first one who, we can say that first one who actually laid out all this accurately, described the trees and the branches, the relationship between the root and the branches and the angles. So if we interpret his original idea, then you can use the formula to construct your visualization, construct your trees, and see the daughter, what they call daughter branches angle, and daughter branches add together equal to the root. So what's the difference in the middle one? The middle one doesn't show the root has any difference. Can you see that? Right? So this one is more closer to Da Vinci's root. Okay, but one we mostly see it this way today. So what people ignored here is the proportion of the comparison relationship between the root. Only just use position, it's enough to show this is a root. No need to show the size. That's maybe the modern way we can see. Another thing I was using was a early 1937 illustration of showing the branches related to the geographical locations in 3 different ways. So that means that even before we have computerized systems today, previously from Da Vinci or till the last century, people are using the measuring to do this. So the tree figure is like that, but now mostly we saw it's the other way. It's inverted trees. So the root becomes to the top, right? You see more like this. The root getting to the top and the leaf laid out, and each layer has the same size or length or depth. So this particular one has a good feature that widely used the space on the screen. Yeah. Who has done that? Well, also could find some previous manuscript and prints that people do using this way to interpret the tree structure. But let's just give you some examples. Right. But when we have this kind of direction, the trees, you can see this 3D model, the Xerox 1991. But what the shadow tells you, what's different of this two? This one is exactly the same data and the model, but just different direction. But the labels can be laid out this way, right? So we can see that this is back to the problems or disadvantages of this kind of tree, because the way you read, anyone can read the label, you have to put your head down, right? So that is one of the difference that people feel say, yes, it's very efficient using space, but it's not so readable. And also, if I have a lot of hierarchies, this will go too long. And how you can do that on the screen. So let's turn the labels the other way. Would that work better? Maybe it's better, but some labels will overlap. So that's another usability issue. Anyway, so this is just examples. And this kind of tree, we also can turn to the different way to show the sides. So you can see this compared with the top one, the root has the sides, the boxes has the sides. So you can see based on the measuring of the sides, instead of just see where the location is, you can see how big the category. And this one, I was trying to find an ancient one. I found one that in Chinese, however, it is upside down, actually. This is the correct way. So I haven't found any exact way of that, the icing, like the ice one. Okay. Horizontal trees is also called the identity. This we use on the computer, on our file management system, everything, file manager, right? So we have this. There are lots of advantages because it's like the same way people read, same way the natural language reading patterns looks like. And you can go on and on like you have on the file management system. And you can also put the notes and the labels and even the figures with that when you explain. Those are the advantages. However, you can see this one. I don't know any other computers still have that. You've wasted a lot of space and you're very, very long if you have a long list. Right? So easy way to take a look is to break down the screen and put multiple hierarchies. But this is also, we can go trace back to the 72 that we already see the layout of table of contents, the layout in the print, in the multiple hierarchies way. This is another one. It's another table of contents. At that time, people has a limited space to do the manuscript, the print. How can they best use the space for all the table of contents? So that's one of the example I have. Now, the modern time, we are getting more computerized, and I really like this one, the taxonomy of the philosophies. So you can go inside and then click on, right? I'm sure you all use that. So this is an advancement on horizontal trees. There are also horizontal trees that are quantity based. So based on the quantity to show the sizes, to show using color, to show the types. Yeah. Okay, next one. Anyone saw this before? Where is the root? You see, this is also usable for other languages. So we see the Arabic on this particular tree structure. Now, turn this into a circle the same way. The red radial trees or radial layers, they are becoming more popular as well. And now you will say, do we have this in the ancient time? Of course, this is quite popular in the ancient time. For example, this particular early picture. So you can see the queen in the middle. My mouse just queen in the middle, right? And then on the three heads, extending her the crown, the ethics, logic, and the physics. And then you also see the 7 streams at that time. So it's using this to show the hierarchy, show the branches, show the layers. And this kind of circle are very popular in the Asian systems and the Asian displays. So similar to what we have been using today. Yeah. And also you could have quantity involved. This particular one, involving the quantity, it shows the sizes of particular branches. So this is a quantity involved, or no quantity involved, just the conceptual, just structure. Then you can tell those differences. And there are people adding the labels to indicate the importance and indicate all of the major branches. Yeah. On the left one on the top is the visualization of the schema.org. You know, everyone knows that the Google, Yahoo, Bing, and Yandex use schema.org. The clergy, webmasters, to mark up their websites become machine understandable in the semantic markup. So those are the categories that what they call classes that schema.org have presented. I think everyone would like this one too. It's an infographic, but it somehow also has the quantity involved. It's about the taxonomy of team names. The team named by what? By people or by animal or by nature, and how many are named by that. So that's another interesting application we can see. But what we were just showing but on the left side, all this, you can see there's equal branch out, equally going through the radial tree. But then sometimes we find problems, like this one. You can see there's some part empty, there's some part are so much, it's almost cannot hold anymore, right? So one of the way is to not do this root in the center, but the root will be shifted according to the needs of the branches. So there's a hyperbolic trees have been now in the diverse displays used a lot. If you look on the web, many of them are using this in the dynamic displays. So you get one from the beginning. If you need to have the center further go down, go up, you can look further. Of course, it's a different approach from the one that we showed before, that the root has to be in the center and the diagram, it has to be exactly same side and each branch has the same distance. This will be much more dynamic. Yeah. Okay. And also we saw that the showing the size of a branch. In this sunburst way is showing using the quantities behind that to show exactly how much the branch is. And this is also popular in the infograph once you added colors and there was other thing. And with this sunburst, especially burst out, can I find anything in the ancient manuscript prints? If you find any, you can tell me. I only found something from the Chinese books that has had this interesting, similar to what we had then. Okay. But those are the ones that I showed you was branch out, right? It's any way that you only have one screen, you want everyone focus on only one screen. But very deep can be branched out. So that is a different approach. It's the circle packing layout, for example. Circle packing, although you can see a lot of space seems to be wasted. However, the waste also shows you the size of the original branch, how big of that branch, or how many leaves there, how important or further branch out. And this kind of way of circle packing was also found in the ancient books. I have this particular book in the 1587, which has multiple, as mentioned, 16 such kind of circle packed trees to show the branches of liberal art. And we also see the modern infographic is so similar to what they have before. Yeah. But this kind of layout have the disadvantages. Could anyone think about that? It is mostly used in dynamic way. It's online, it's interactive. So I will give you an example. For example, the Internet of Things, you can see, you can click, and you can play on the website. And now I want to say, if I want to find a automobile, where I should click. Okay, I maybe click on here, right? So what happened after I clicked? Where is that again? Where is the position? It's changed it. Can you see that? Completely change it. And if I want to find a particular leaf or even further branch, now I click on that one. No. Where is that? You still look at the original, and then you look at the major branch, right? And you can see that it's completely different places. So this is one very useful and very nicely used the space and everything. The only disadvantage is that it changed location, and users every time have to look again. So one of the faculty member, Dr. Salava, had done a research with some people showing different hierarchical display, and this one was the one that people mostly don't like, because they have to spend time to figure out where was I clicked before. So, okay. The last one is the tree map, which it's like a mosaic. And where is the root now? The root is implied by the title itself. So you don't use the space or position to show the root. You just show everything behind. Okay, now this is the tree map, and it's mostly widely used. A lot of benefit. This particular one is from the White House. Unfortunately, it's no longer there. And you can click on there. You can see the budget on different branches. Already the size tells you everything, but you can further go on. And this one is still alive. This is the market, of course. That you can go on and find the particular parts, and find exactly the live data about the company, about the stocks. And the tree maps has this advantage that fully use the whole screen and use the sides to show the root, branches, sub-branches, and leaves, right? So it has a very nice way of using the space, and also can connect with the live data, very quantity-based. We can also have non-quantity based. For example, this is the tree. It's a infograph supposed to say any bird in the U.S. you can find. It's on this picture. So how will you find yours? You first find the category you're looking for, and then find the detail, right? So this is another way you use it. Okay, so the tree maps, there are ancient people using the tree maps. How do you think? Yeah. So again, I only could find one from the Chinese printing about the 7 major, what we call, the elements formed the whole universe into the tree map. But we also can go back to the linear taxonomy, tree of life, because he presented in the 1735, he presented all the things, the branches, this is about the animal kingdom, in the tree map, the way, fully used. One, it's called table, but it is useless. So if I look back, all of this we have been talking about, we can see they all capture the structure. They have the root, branches, leaves, but they do have different positions for the root. Some on the top, some on the left, or some on the right, some on the bottom. Also, whether they show the root sides or not. You can see that the difference. And the shapes, of course, have the variation. The same kind of set of data, you can use all of this exactly to show. But each have different places to put the root. Each has the way of extend, how to further extend. And also how flexible you are, how much you can take. You say, okay, that's enough, I cannot take anymore. Or you can take unlimitedly, while also it is still user-friendly, readable. So how to measure them? I didn't get any research on, say, how we can further measure the functions of all of this visualization. Maybe we can look at their extensibility and whether they are hospitable or not, whether they're readable or not, or whether people comfortable with the layout or not. And maybe the generation will change as well. It's a new digital born age. But the typical ways that the ancient people kept using still are mostly acceptable, because we see the trees every day, we read the way of language like that more naturally. So in conclusion, I think that the visual representations reflecting the order and structure of knowledge, and they have been used for thousands of years. And most of the modern computerized visual deliveries of information or knowledge can trace their roots in the graphic works found in the early print, manuscripts, and other artifact. But modern computerized visualization, as I mentioned, you change your algorithm, you can visualize differently. However, the usability issues still need to be addressed. How that fit users' general way of reading, using, navigating, exploring. Right? So that's my conclusion, and thank you so much for letting me share with you all of this. And I hope that we can, in the future, have more ideas and to find out more from the previous other culture. I have the limited study, and this was one of the 15th century book. You can see almost every structure also in here, including the tree, the sunburst, and circle, and the tree maps. And there are very nice reference books I would recommend to you to check, including the ontology. The first one is the ontology I used, and the second one is you can get it fully on time. You can find the early way that graphical, without computer, without machine, that how people did the graphical presentation. And of course, we have our very nice Lima books, especially the Book of Trees has a lot more examples than I have here, right? Okay, I think that's all my talk. If you have questions, just let me know, or can email me if you need the examples or pictures. I will be glad to share with you. Okay, thank you.
Guys, we're up for a break now, so if you need the restrooms, they're out here to the left. And then after 15 minutes or so, you can go to your individual tracks. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, the workshop is in this room.
Stop?
Yeah.